Yeah, she's gonna mess around and get a.
We live. I froze up a little bit. I think I'm starting to come to life. I don't know what's going on. I'm freezing, but nevertheless, hello everybody. I guess I'll catch up in just a minute. I don't know why it's lagging really bad, but hopefully it'll warm up. But anyway, I am Demetra K. I'm not pop locking here. I'm just whatever. This is the Demetra K Show where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you and hello to Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. See, he's got his bald head covered up today. It looks like it's cold there in the Inland Empire. It's cold here as well. 55 degrees here. It's 55 degrees. As y'all can see, I have my little shirt and turtleneck on to stay warm, but it's whatever.
62 here.
Oh, not too far behind us. So if I keep buffering, I'll have to go out and come back in, Donovan, as you're doing your introduction. So I'd like to say a big hello, giant thank you, and welcome to YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. You are the other side of conversation. Not only are you just viewers, you are participants as well. And we often share the link here. So yeah, you can come in here and voice your opinion. Today, we're going to be talking about a Big Mama. Big Mama had to do some straightening, some correction on Thanksgiving. And I'll just show y'all the video. It's not very long, but I think it deserves a discussion. Plus, just to kind of lighten it up for today. And, I think it'll be a really good discussion. So let's see here. Who do we have here? Moni, what's going on with you? I see you, Moni X, on your new channel. I saw you on your old one before, so I'm not knowing what's going on here. He says, please talk about Derek Chauvin and what happened to him. Yeah, we can bring it up. Don't let me forget. JBWR, how you doing? Easy E, what's going on with you? Thank you so much. Sorry that I'm freezing up, y'all, but I'm going to go back out and come in when Donovan is doing his thing. Let's see here. Monet, what's going on with you? Michael, how you doing? Soto, OG, Angela, and let's see who else. Malo Factor, what is going on with you? Donovan, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. It is 3:00 here in Southern California, which means it's Demetra K, and I'm on the show, ready to go. Ooh, that was a good rhyme. Hey, you guys, great to see you guys. Our co-hosts are on time as well. Great topics that we're going to talk about. Before I forget, you guys, please download the African Diaspora News Channel app. It's on Apple Store and Google Play. That way, the revolution will not be televised, and we can talk about things the way we want to talk about them without worrying about being censored or anything like that, or us having to censor you and say what's up. Easy 7,700. What is up? Raiders are tied right now. Oh no, Kansas City's 21-14. Kansas City is up. They are starting to roll. Their offense is rolling. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about this holiday season. I mean, I'm already seeing people in the malls buying stuff that I don't know why they would be buying it, knowing that we're going to have some serious things happening. But real quick, if you want to donate and give the content creator 100% of your donation, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom. Please feel free to go ahead and do that. And that way you know that Demetra will get 100% versus 60%. As we know, YouTube takes away. Good evening, Miss Sweet Talk, OG Fritz, Thunder, welcome back, Troy Scott, of course, Black America. And who else did I forget here? Facts Not Feelings, of course, Mallow Factor, Angela Riddick. Thank you guys for tuning in. Michael, as usual, Michael Pan, and Soto, hope I'm saying that right. Sotoa. So, Demetra, it seems like your buffering problem is a little bit better. So let's take it from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully it'll fix itself. If not, I don't know. It's kind of weird here why I am buffering. I'm freezing and it's kind of irritating. But anyway, so hello to everybody. I know Donovan acknowledged everybody. Shaniqua, how are you doing? Till Dog, what's going on with you? He says if grandma had to take control, then she's a real one. We need that. All right, so let's get into it. I saw this video a couple of days ago. I think it was actually Thanksgiving or maybe afterwards, where apparently, as most people do, we pray around the table, especially in our families, right? We pray. And some of the children there, they thought it was kind of funny to be praying. Donovan, I'm freezing up still. No, maybe it's just my end. So anyway, So the children were laughing, and I'll show y'all, and I blurred out their faces as much as I can just to kind of protect them a little bit. But I want to show y'all this video, and y'all can we can have a discussion from there. Yeah, I'm freezing. I'm frozen, huh?
You are now frozen. You are now frozen.
I don't know why I'm freezing. It is so weird. I haven't done this in forever. Everything seems to be good. I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna try to play this, and I might have to go all the way back out and come in, Donovan. So you'll have to man the show.
I got it. I got it.
Let me find it really quick. Here it is. Okay, so hopefully it plays. Forgive me, guys, but here it is.
Lord, I just want to thank you. You've been so good to us. You never see another year that was never seen. Lord, I just want to thank you. Lord, just
okay, wait. I'm gonna show it again because it really was really quick. Because that's all that there was. But I'm gonna show it. I'm sure by now a lot of y'all have seen it. So here we go again. Pay attention.
The prayer.
Lord, I just want to thank you. You've been so good to us. You never see another year that was never seen. Lord, I just want to thank you. Lord, just
She ain't hit my child. You don't hit my child. I don't care who you are. You don't hit my child. This is my child. This ain't your child. Grandma, you know how y'all be doing. I mean, again, we didn't see the whole context of what was going on, but you don't have grandmas like that anymore.
Yeah, so as y'all could see that it was very quickly. Can you hear me though, Donovan? Okay, you hear me. So
yes,
as y'all can see quickly, grandma, she got her little switchy or her little belt, and apparently she already had it on hand. Maybe the children were cutting up earlier than that, and so grandma was like, all right, I'm gonna keep it on hand just in case. But anyway, there are some people who were rather upset about what grandma did, and of course y'all saw that they were laughing. So it looks like she only straightened up one girl who seemed like she was doing the most laughing. Now listen, when I was a kid, I used to get in trouble for laughing all the time, right? It was just I don't know, but I never laughed to that degree, especially when prayer was going forward or anything like that. But they were really cutting up, and so I don't know if that's the grandma. Maybe they thought she was a joke as well. I don't know, but she had to let them know grandma came through with a quickness. But this is what some people were saying in regards to what grandma had to do. All right, let's see. Okay, so one girl on Twitter posted, basically she allows that Black people are coming together to condemn grandma who hit that baby during prayer. All right. And so then one guy says, ask grandma why she praying to Jesus over slave food on a day Indians got slaughtered. Is like, for real. Okay. And then one guy says it was necessary. It was unnecessary. She could have just explained to the little baby the principle behind prayer before eating and why her laughing wasn't respectful. Then one girl says, I think some of y'all need to ask yourself why y'all want to hit children so damn bad. And think about the childhood you had. What she did to that baby was completely uncalled for. So that was just some of the sentiment out there in regards to what happened. But listen, I am no stranger to a little pop here and there, a little correction or whatever. But I'm going to just tell y'all right out the gate that I am one of those people who I'm a proponent for parenting with our minds. But I did not have a problem with what I saw there. I think what grandma did was quick. I think it was appropriate. And I think she sent the message to them, you will not be playing at this table, especially while your uncle, is sitting up here praying. So, Donovan?
Once again, I have the biggest question of all, the biggest mystery of all of these families. Where is grandpa? Where is the father who is supposed to be leading this family and setting down the law and how it's going to be? Moms always nurture and do what they do. And we know that's a big responsibility, but it seems to me a lot of these fathers are lagging when it's a gathering. And at that time, if anybody should address those kids, in my opinion, should have been the father, the oldest person, in the household, whatever, whoever is supposed to be leading, because you can't be a leader when you got all this other stuff going on. So again, where are these men that are supposed to set up and set the parameters and the gates? When I was coming up, the men set the parameters. If the women enforced it, they enforced the parameters, but they set up the agenda of how things were going to go. That mother, after grandmother, was probably cooking all night, doing whatever she was going to do, and now she's got to get up and whip some ass. Something's just not right, in the land. Now, unfortunately, the Democratic Party pushes the destruction of the family unit, because only liberals would say what they saw there was wrong. The problem is this: if there are no guardrails for children, especially when they're coming up, they're going to be, in the words of that great person, Hillary Clinton, that a lot of you Democrats out there love, super predators. That's why you have to discipline them when they're young. So as they get older, it just takes a look. It just takes, a certain thing without having to resort to the violence. But only liberals will do that. And the Democratic Party pushes the destruction of the family, more so in the Black community than any other community that there is. Oh, don't hit the children. They don't talk to them. That is a white culture thing. Okay. I'm with Demetra. You should always try to talk and get your message out. But some of these cretins, hey, it's fire with fire. And that's how I think it should be. Not one solution solves everything. What works in the white community doesn't necessarily work in the Black community. Why? Because we are treated a different way. So again, I'm not saying physical violence is the way to deal with children, but I'll tell you this: when my son was about 5, my son right now, my youngest son is 6'3", 240 pounds. I'm 5'10", 176 pounds. Till this very day, he has a deep respect and fear of me as his father. Even though I know if me and him had to go to fisticuffs, he's going to give me a lot to handle, but in the end, I'll win. But he'll give me a lot to handle. But the thing is, you've got to establish that at a young age so you don't have to worry about it, until it gets a lot bigger. So, a lot of liberals, Black people, we vote for this Democratic Party, 95% plus. And this is the agenda that they push within our community. And then we wonder why our community has gone completely haywire. I mean, that's just how it is. When you vote for the Democratic Party, you're also voting for the destruction of the Black family. That's just a fact. Family Matter Party is known as the Republican Party. Nobody says that the Family Matter Party is the Democratic Party. So again, it's interesting how we look at that. But let's get some of you guys' comments in here. Black America says this is a regular thing. The kid didn't even cry. Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. Some of these kids are so out of control, it's no big deal. You get beat up, it's no big deal. Thunder says the same people that have your problem with this are the same people who need the same tune-up. Exactly. White supremacy did those kids 10,000 times worse in 2023. Facts, but they want to go after an elder. JBWR says Grandpa might have passed on Donovan. African Violet V1. The father only had to look and say, hey. Exactly. Where are the dads? You mean to tell me even the older gentlemen, who most men, we look to our semblance of what we are. So, and I'm not using this as an excuse, ladies. So if he has been neutered by his wife, what do you think the younger men under him are going to be? Thinking this is how you're supposed to act. Miss Sweet Talk says the fathers don't like to whoop ass. They too busy working and taking. Exactly. Thunder says, where's Grandpa? He probably worked himself into an early grave to provide them. Yeah, exactly. Miss Sweet says African Violets B1 facts. African Violets says train them young. And exactly. By the time my son was 5 years old, I never had to from the time he was 5 until he's now, I never had to put a hand on him. But he knew that when I got upset, problems was coming. Massage Landrum, hope I said that right, says exactly. Till Dog 12 says grandma's house, grandma's rules, and like it or not, she fears and respects God, and you don't play with God. Exactly. Miss Sweet Talk says Homer and Bart Simpson. Exactly. African Violet, it's based on the child. Yeah, some kids are more sensitive than others. Some kids are really good, but there are a lot of kids out there that are really bad, and it's not really their fault, because if you're never taught nothing, you're out there just winging it. So I give a lot of grace to a lot of the kids in the hood who are just, released on society. But the problem that I have with when they're released on society, especially by their mothers or their grandmother or whoever's raising them, is when society gets a hold of them, it's a whole different ball game. It isn't the community. It's a whole different ball game. JJ says, I guess some people don't know how to give respect. And again, when you're young like that, you have to learn respect. You don't know what it is. So who's teaching you? This is why the mother is so important in the nurturing of our children at a specific age, up until a specific age. I believe women should nurture younger women up until that younger woman is ready to leave the house, because you have a lot of similarities. How to be a woman, you're going through your changes and all that other stuff like that. So it becomes from a nurturing thing to a mentoring thing. Whereas this is what I think the problem is in the Black community, especially with these Black mothers. You should allow the male child to go with the father at about 9 or 10 years old. At 9 or 10 years old, that boy should be with his father if you guys are not together, because you cannot teach him what it is to be a man. And then I hear women complain about these feminized men all the time, not in my generation, but in generations below me. And the honest answer is, well, what are you expecting? If a boy has been around his mother and that's his primary caregiver all his damn life, of course he's going to pick up traits of the mother. How mother reacts to stress, how mother reacts to different situations and stuff. That is how he's going to deal with it, because he doesn't know any other difference. Because the mother won't let him go with the father. The mother won't let him spend time with the uncle, or whatever. So the very men that these younger women complain about, are the very men that they're raising. I know it's hard to accept, ladies, but it's a fact. Just in the same way, if a girl is being raised predominantly by her father, she takes on tomboy traits. Now, my youngest son's mom was a tomboy, and she had both her parents, but she was a tomboy. They make some of the best moms out there, because when I was away, whatever, she can go out there and play basketball with them. She can go out there and baseball, and she's out there with them, getting physical. She's not really, she's not into the feminine as much as she's into doing what's necessary. But in regards to a lot of girls being raised, with the father, let's say she's the only girl child, whatever, dad's going to put her in all the sports and stuff, and she becomes more tomboyish, or she might become more butch. Dad doesn't know how to teach her how to make her makeup and all those little things. He doesn't know how to do that. Have you ever seen those girls in school where they're like 15 or 16 years old and they never wore makeup, and they still kind of they're not as feminine as like the regular girls? Yeah, I mean, that actually does happen. So, I mean, we were all in high school. We remember those people. Then you had those guys that were kind of sweet. You don't know if he's going to be gay or not, but he was really sweet. Most likely he was, but you didn't really care. JBWR says, you can't blame the government on what happens in the home. No, JBWR, we're not blaming the government, but then again, you can if it's an agenda that's pushed. If it's an agenda that's pushed, you can blame the government. I mean, think about this. Ladies talk about my body, my choice. So you are going to sanction outright murder of a person because it's legal. Okay, now here's where I'm going with that. Now abortion has been basically thrown to the states. So every individual state is going to deal with it. A lot of states say, no, there's no abortion allowed here, whatever. There are still some states that do it, right? Government is creating that mess. They're putting their 2 cents in it, right? So now you've got women that are panicking, that have to go to certain states, and they're criminalizing all of this stuff. So yeah, if it's an agenda, you can blame the government. You can blame the government. I cannot tell you the amount of women that I know that have had abortions, and it's like they're up here. I mean, you know, because they're always thinking about what if and stuff like that. Like I said, ladies, I wouldn't. Thank God I'm a man, because I don't know if I could deal with a situation like that. But a lot of women that I know of that have had them, they have psychosis in their heads. They have a psychosis. Soto says, some kids you just have to talk to, others you got to bring out the belt. We don't know if these kids are hard-headed or not. Some things you don't do while talking seriously to God, laughing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to have some form of respect somewhere. But unfortunately, a lot of these children are being raised with the city girl moms, and there are no guardrails. There just are no guardrails. So, Demetra's back. How are we doing?
For whatever reason, I'm still buffering, so it might be a program issue on my end.
It's probably cold in Texas. And
it is. It's cold. But anyway, y'all gonna have to deal with me freezing up a little bit. My apologies. But yeah, so I was listening. I'm not sure what's going on, so it's irritating. I try not to be irritated. It's hard for me to focus on what I need to say, the comments, and watch myself freeze up. So hopefully that'll fix itself. But nevertheless, yeah, I heard what you're saying. And so I was kind of reading the comments as well. So I kind of want to go back to what the original part of it. You said, where were the men in that video? Well, the man was there. The man was praying. It was the uncle, from what I understand. It looked like there were some other men as well in the video. So me personally, I don't think it had a lot to do with the presence of men or there or not. I think it has a lot to do with just the loosening of expectations within the family unit, and especially in regards to how we raise children. Because like I said, you know, my siblings and I were very silly, laughing all the time and all that other stuff. But I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't dare even, even if it was something that was super funny there, I couldn't imagine doing that. Like I always say, y'all know, I grew up in the Nation of Islam, born into the nation. And we sat for hours, you know, as prayer was going forward or the teachings were going forward in the mosque. And as I said, we couldn't get up too many times. You better not be caught laughing, you know, while the service was going on, because you were going to get more than a little pop from grandma, you know. So I don't know. And there was we've heard the saying too a lot. Everything ain't funny, you know. There's a time and a place for that, and so I think that needs to be taught. But as I saw that grandma do that, I was so happy. You know, not that the child was getting popped, and she didn't, you know, hit her that hard, I don't think. But I think what she did more importantly was sent the message to her, like, nah, little girl, not on my watch. But you know what's really sad to me about that whole thing? That grandma is, she seems like she was, you know, pretty up there in age. Those grandmothers are leaving us. Big mamas are leaving. We always ask the question, where's the big mamas? Where's the big papas? You know, because I have both. Where are they? And those grandmothers like that, no nonsense, they're leaving from amongst us. And I hate to say it, you know, we do have a lot of women who are grandmamas, and it's like, are you a grandmama? You know, because when I think of my grandmothers, I think of women who dress just so, you know, they didn't have a bunch of breasts and thighs showing. You could tell there was a line of demarcation between the grandmothers and the younger women, because the grandmothers, they were the matriarch of the family, the big mamas, the glue of the family, you know, big papa too, grandfathers. But those grandmothers and grandfathers aren't around anymore that could give you a look, you know, and get you together, or a little pop. But one thing I will say for sure is those children will think twice before they start laughing while prayer is going forward. Yeah, maybe he says something funny, but, and you know, a little snicker or a little okay, fine. But they were just like busting up as if grandma was not about their life. So I think we really need to have a conversation as to how do we get that respect back, right? Because again, we all had big mamas and we wouldn't dare. But nowadays, these kids, you know, it's just like, oh, well, who gonna check me? It's funny. Nothing's gonna happen to me. But like I said, I thought it was very telling that she already had the belt in hand. So was she whooping ass already, you know, or what? So, and I promise you, I'm gonna get to these comments, but I'll I guess catch up a little bit later as far as my lagging. But I think y'all can hear me okay. let's see here. Donovan, you can jump in. I just want to, I know you kind of read a lot of the comments, but I want to just see here. And forgive
Yeah,
me, y'all.
and that's I don't mean to cut you off, but and that's another thing when it comes to the baby boomer generation. People keep forgetting these people are checking out of here every day. They are no longer the dominant generation anymore. You combine the generations behind them, we far outnumber them, Generation X, Y, and millennials, than there are baby boomers. And I know a lot of people that don't agree with my numbers of 95% of Black people vote Democratic plus, but actually that basically was true. I mean, in every general election, Black people universally support the Democratic Party. That is changing as the baby boomers are getting in, people are waking up. But the baby boomer class of Black people was the backbone of the Democratic Party and their voting base. That was their voting base. And these are people for 60 years that accepted nothing but recognition. All they wanted to do was be recognized. And if you ask yourself, what has the baby boomer class done since the civil rights era, because they're the only ones that benefited from it, they've done absolutely nothing. And as you see, they could care less that their grandchildren can't afford a house. They could care less that jobs are being shipped overseas. They can care less about any of that because it's all about them, period. And that's where we're at.
And Thunder, Donovan, can you hear me all right? Okay, Thunder said,
Yes.
Where's Grandpa? He probably worked himself into an early grave to provide for them. Probably, or maybe he was taking a nap. He might have been there. And I know a lot of times we reverence Big Mama, right? Big Mama, Big Mama, Big Mama, because Big Mama, even if there was a Big Papa there, Big Mama was kind of the one, maybe the more so the disciplinarian, if you will. The grandfather or Big Papa, usually he liked to love on the kids, leave them alone, that kind of stuff. But I don't think that would be her, Big Mama, usurping the authority of the man or acting masculine or any of that kind of stuff. I think she was just, I'm here. I'm within striking distance, and somebody finna get popped. Especially, from her generation, she looked like they're from the generation of we get on our knees and we pray and we go to church and all that. And I know nowadays a lot of people are moving away from the church, but that particular grandmother looked like, she still really enjoyed the teachings of the church and prayer and all of that. And then that, the generation that she had to touch up a little bit, not so much, but let's see here. African Violet. You say train them young. Absolutely. You got to train them young because you can't expect for them when they get older, say, okay, now I'm going to teach you something. I want to train you up. Nah, you got to do it when they're young from the cradle, right? All right. So let me skip down a little bit. I apologize, y'all. JJ, how you doing? You say, I guess some people don't know how to give respect. It's not even necessary. Yeah, some people don't, but a lot of times they're not taught. We don't teach our children respect anymore, right? We have them grow up and they grow up like adults and doing things I would say that adults do and witnessing adulthood in the way that they should not be witnessing it. Because I could say, when I was younger, there's things I couldn't do. I couldn't stand in my mama's conversation with her friends and listen and be all up in the conversation. Some of y'all, not y'all, them over there, got children or grandchildren. Y'all won't tell them to leave the room. They hearing you talk all kind of ways with your homegirls and your homeboys. And that, I did all this last night. Case in point is if you look on the internet, sometimes people, for whatever reason, I don't know why, they'll post their children acting all, just like them. And it's like, now, they just sat up there and listened to their mama, talk to their friends and, all kind of spicy and salty and kind of stuff like that. And so it's not taught anymore. Hey, little boy. Hey, little girl. Go play with your toys. Get out my mouth. Because I remember when I was probably like 5 or 6, as I said, I stopped too long in the living room. My mama was having a conversation with her friend. And my mama said, get out my mouth. Basically, keep it pushing. And I got out of her mouth. So we got to have the decency that our parents and our grandparents used to have to the point that where we teach respect. But yeah, it's taught. And then when it's taught, people will learn how to give it. All right, so let's see here. Skip on down. And hello to everybody. I apologize not acknowledging everybody, but I'll do my best as we go along here. Miss White, how you doing? Says my mother talked to me with a switch and a belt. Yeah. that switch ain't nothing nice. Casey, how you doing? He says, get him, grand. Old school, how you doing? You says a lot of women these days teach the kids to undermine the father. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't know if a lot do. I would say more than enough do teach that. But as I always say, I'm a big proponent of men fighting to be in the life of your child. And I even hate to say that y'all got to fight to be in the life of your child, because you shouldn't have to fight. But if she does put you through the stuff, fight her. As they say, she put the white man in your life, put the white man in her life. Take her to court, you know. And of course, if you have a baby mama or whatever that's teaching your children that, a lot of times they refer to that as alienation of the child. Take her to court. Tell them what's going on. Say my child is being unduly influenced by, you know, their mother is mad or bitter for whatever reason. It has nothing to do with the child. If she's mad at me, great. But to influence my child to be against me. And I've seen that more times than not with a mother and father. So, you know, fight her tooth and nail if you must. All right. So let's see. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I'm way behind. I apologize. Okay, let me catch up. Precious Frazier, how are you doing today? You say, can you hear me? Oh, okay. It says, where are the villages to help mentor these kids? Read Sylvia Wood's story in her cookbook from her Queen of Soul food in Harlem. She still relevant for us to use as a model for community and family. Yeah. Wasn't that long ago on the show, and I was talking about the village. There's a lot of people say they don't believe in a village approach of raising children. I'm not one of those people. I believe wholeheartedly that it does take a village to raise a child. A lot of times people can't do it alone. There's a lot of wisdom in that village, right? If we'd only take that knowledge back with us. And hello again to everybody on here. I just want to catch up a little bit. Mr. Barr, how are you doing? You say, I thought I put it up, but it didn't. Okay, let's see. Says, not to mention the majority of the average nation's mindset is heavily influenced by entertainment, which on many levels is controlled by the government. So yeah, I kind of heard a little bit about the governmental argument. Yeah, sure. We know that the government does play a lot, has played a big role in what happened with the structure of the Black family. But see, we're in an age of knowing, and we know these things now, and we should still, you know, figure out a way to parent our children, grandchildren in a way that is conducive for them and for society, because we were all brought up. I mean, hell, slavery on with the influence of the government in Black communities, but not all of us grew up being wayward, right? Some of us, most of us, I would say, a lot of us grew up with some sense, law-abiding, and were respectful. So what did our parents do differently than the parents that I guess aren't doing a good job? The government affecting them differently? I don't know. Maybe we can have a conversation about that. Okay. Yeah, JBWR says grandma was in a moo-moo. You know, your grandma wasn't up in that moo-moo. You know, she probably had a switch, a belt, extension cord, and a whole bunch of stuff in the pockets of that moo-moo. Hey, Facts Not Feelings, how you doing? Says down with the matriarchy. Well, you know, I think it's important that we have matriarchy. But yes, we do know that within the Black community, it is ran more of a matriarchy than a patriarchy. It definitely needs to change. I would say that it definitely needs to be a balance between both, you know, because they're both needed. But every other community or society, I guess, the man is in charge. Some people will say that's part of the problem. I'm just playing. But yeah, it should not be ran by the women. I could tell you right now, many women want to sit back and let y'all take the lead. And I'm telling you that from a woman's point of view. Renz G, how you doing? Joanne, how you doing? Long time no see. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna just keep going. Brother Don, how you doing? It says all Sunday churchianity. He says Sunday school, Monday service, Bible training union, Sunday evening service. Grandmother had Geritol for that. Ours, she could target one of us in the midst of us. Yeah, grandma didn't play story time. How you doing? Let's see here. Dia, how are you doing this fine evening? I think I caught up a little bit. I apologize for me freezing and all of that. Hopefully I catch up. Michael Rainey, what's going on with you? You said where the parents' belt was on, ready for a reason. Well, maybe the parents were there. You know, grandma was probably the nearest to them. And, you know, because if you really think about what was going on, right? Because I know in hindsight, in a perfect world, Monday morning quarterbacking style, we could say those things like, well, where was the parents? This, that, and the other. But look how fast all of that happened. Uncle is praying. The kids are laughing. Grandma's trying to, you know, inculcate the prayer so they can carve up the turkey, whatever they're going to do. So all of it really happened so fast. So was she supposed to say, okay, we need to get the village together. A mom, dad, where are you? These kids need their asses whooped. Or was she like, you know what? I'm the closest. Pop, pop, pop. All right. Now let's get back to what we was. Do you see what I'm saying? So to kind of critique grandma, where the parents were, and it's like she had did what she had to do. Freddie B, what's going on with you? Michael, you say, are you familiar with the National Assembly of American Descendants of Slavery? Because the organization supports cash reparations for ADOS and resources for Black people. Nope, first time I've ever heard of them. You know what though, Michael? There's so many organizations for reparations. It's like, you know what we need is for them to write the damn check. Okay, we don't need all these organizations and started using all this. Just write the check. They know what they need to do. Write the check. How hard can it be? Have a come to Jesus moment. Say, what day are we getting together to write the checks for Black people who are descendants of slavery, right? I know me personally, I don't want to be a part of no groups. I don't want to be part of none of that. Only thing I want to be a part of is logging on to my bank account in the morning and say, there that reparations check is. That's all I want to be a part of. That's it. You know, because everything else is just smoke and mirrors. It's kabuki theater at this point. You know, Black people have been sold a lot of hope unnecessarily, and nothing will raise the spirits of Black people more than depositing money into the bank account. I promise you that. Anthony, how you doing? He says that switch was a game changer. Yeah, you know, like I said, we've all been privy, most of us rather, to a switch, a belt, something. It got you to act right. Now, of course, I know, you know, as I said, you know, as they say, rather when you know better, you do better. You kind of want to parent the children with your mind. But I think in that moment, it was appropriate. You know, these children don't know what it's like to get a pop. I'm not talking about nothing abusive where you just get a whooping because you breathe wrong or whatever. But when you acting up, you know, especially in some setting like that, yeah, I think, you know, because our people used to say you're going to get basically tapped up where you act up, you know. So, and I'm sure grandma did it from a place of love. I mean, when you discipline somebody, you do it the right way, it's usually an act of love. It's actually very unloving to let something go unbridled and not to correct them. That's not loving, because what happens, as Donovan said, then they get out there to society and they get to acting crazy. And then most of those, if you go to the prisons, they'll say, yeah, I wish I had a mom or a dad or somebody to tell me or to really put their foot down, you know, to correct me. But I kind of just got away with doing whatever I wanted. And now I'm here, right? So you don't love your children if you don't correct them when they are off course. You just don't. And you don't love yourself, right? So I agree with that. Let's see here. African Violet says, yes, I use the village raising approach. They can celebrate you as well as give you your lessons, and some act right. Yeah, I mean, because we don't know everything, right? We need to draw wisdom from somewhere. We're not the end all be all when it comes to being smart. Okay. Like you say, Demetra, in non-Black communities, men and women run things together. I'm not sure where you're getting your information. Where I'm getting my information, well, I just said that it needs to be a balance between the matriarchy and patriarchy, but I'm getting my information from my community. I know how our community runs. Our community runs more like a matriarchy, and that's out of balance. And, you know, the women are very instrumental in the any community, especially Black community. I mean, the Black woman is the mother of civilization, but she also needs to learn when to say, hey, all right, baby, you got it. I'm not behind you. I'm with you, but the woman needs to recognize that the man should be in the role of leadership. No other community other than the Black community has their women on the front line, especially when it comes to marching, protesting, and all that other stuff. The men should be on the front line and the women should be at home praying that everything go all right, but she shouldn't be standing there on the front line with him. When you tell me, Michael, what community, or even, Warren Donovan's been in the military for 24 years, other than the military, because I know there's women in there, but what society has their women on the front line? It's backwards.
And even in the military, we don't want them on the front lines. And the reason why we don't want that is because women are susceptible to doing very brutal things to other troops. So we kind of hold women in reserves because we know, number one, they could be violated and they will violate. Troops do stuff. So very, very interesting stuff.
Hello, Pamela. How are you doing? I'm trying to catch up here. I think maybe I'm still behind. MC Fact, how you doing? Oops, where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, my thing is, it says, well, listen to the music today. The music teachers disrespect. The music is filled with N-word usage, drug, disrespect the family, Black women, and the Black community, and deleting Blacks. Yeah, that's another part of it too. Stop letting your children listen to any and everything. We weren't able to listen to any and everything when our parents, were watching TV or
couldn't listen to a Richard Pryor record, couldn't listen to Red Fox, any of those old, funny records and stuff. Couldn't listen to them.
Yes. All right. So let's see here. Chris, how you doing? It says, my neighbors use capital punishment on me too. Takes a community to raise a child. Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough not to have gotten a whooping by neighbors. I'm trying to think if I get any whoopings outside of my parents. I don't think that I did. And I can't recall ever getting a whooping outside of my parents, like, my mama friends. And no, definitely my parents, grandparents, even. I don't even remember getting a whooping from my grandparents, to be honest with you. Only, my parents. Al, how you doing? It says, in the Last Dance documentary, Jordan said he caught one ass whooping from his dad, and that's all it took. Yeah, see, me and Jordan was alike. I didn't like getting whooped. My brother and sister, not so much. They apparently enjoyed it because they got a lot of them. Okay. I wasn't trying to be like them. That mess hurt. Let's see. Michael, you says, Demetri, in my community and non-Black communities, women are in the front line, especially millennials. I know that what I'm talking about, things are changing. Yeah, and Michael, we had this conversation before, kind of when you were reverencing your father, and that you kind of, and I'm paraphrasing, said it was kind of his way or the highway type of thing. So yeah, your community, I think, I don't want to say unfortunately, but they're learning to be, I think, influenced by the West. In y'all community, y'all tend to be more patriarchal, right? In America, yeah, you see a little bit more matriarchy, and not even just in the Black community, but just, I think, America in general. But in my opinion, I think it needs to change. I think men need to take the lead in our community, because as a woman, I like I always tell y'all, I'm not a boots on the ground type of person. I will not be lacing up no boots out there marching and stomping and romping for nobody, because I'm a lady.
I have a question for you. How many people are excited that if Joe Biden dies in office, Kamala Harris is going to take over? Nobody's excited about this woman. I mean, that knows her background and her history. Now, maybe she's just a particular type, person, an issue with her particularly. But in general, nobody in this country, in the United States, is really happy about a woman becoming president. Let's just be real. I'm not saying I'm not happy about it, but I'm just saying the country that we live in, it is obvious that they have a problem with woman leadership. So right now, if Kamala Harris became president, how many of you ladies, okay, right now, let's even forget that. If Kamala Harris was running for president right now, how many of you guys would vote for her?
Well, I would say this. I wouldn't vote for Kamala because I don't like Kamala's policies. I wouldn't have a problem voting for a woman for president. I think that a woman is capable of running a country, so I don't have a problem with that. I think that she needs to be qualified, just like a man needs to be qualified, because let's keep it a buck. There's been a lot of men running this country per se that have not been qualified to do so.
Don't you talk about Trump. He did a lot for black people.
All right. But Kamala, yes, she's definitely got some issues. Let's see here. Precious, you say they will only cut the check if the entire group of nation builders are seen lining up to get on a spaceship. They need our energy. No, absolutely. Ali says, Dr. Vernon said every man should know where he wants to go before he seeks a woman to help him get there. Absolutely. And that's the premise of Adam and Eve, right? Adam, he knew he had everything together before he brought a woman into his kingdom, if you will. He had it all together. So yeah, he should at least know where he's going, have some sort of a blueprint, something, right? Because why would you want to take somebody with you and you don't know where you're going? We all gonna be lost. Joanne, you say Mom's Maybelline's was out of the question. Bad grandma, but probably taught her grands as well. Did Mom's Maybelline even have any children? Because from what I understand, Mom's Maybelline was she was a lesbian. So I don't even know if she had any children. But she was a lesbian, and of course that was her character. She actually dressed like a man. If you go and look at the research, she dressed like a man with suits and everything. So very interesting. Chris, you say now you hit your child on the hand for grabbing candy in the supermarket, people lose their ish. Yeah. I think something like that, you know, they grabbing candy. I think you probably should have a conversation with them. Hey, you know, don't touch that. Don't touch anything that you haven't paid for, that kind of stuff. But I'm not necessarily one of those parents that think that you should just pop your child for everything, because it desensitizes them and it teaches them trauma and violence, you know, to use popping or hitting as a correction for everything. Because how do you teach your children cerebrally, right? From the brain, from the mind? How do you teach them communication skills, reasoning skills, logic, if you're always whooping them? I mean, I know in some cases they do that to horses, and even then they wouldn't hit a horse, you know, every time it did or did not do something. So we should treat our children, I think, a little bit better than they treat horses and dogs. There's a lot of people who have dogs who wouldn't dare dream of hitting their little Fluffy or Rover or whatever. Let's see here. But I'm one of those people who have lost their stuff when I've seen a child be hit by his mother in the store, and I let her know that too. I catch a case today. Chosen, how you doing? He says he may ask for help with food and shelter today. Anything helps. Triumph, my struggle is temporary. I'm not afraid to be judged. All I can do is ask. Thank you if you're able to do so. I'm not sure what that is about. Is it spam? I'm going to look and see, but hold on a second. All right, let me skip down. African Violet, he says, I think our generation swayed way to the other side. Instead of correcting or punishing, it was too mild. Yeah, unfortunately, we have adopted the ways of it's kind of weird. It's kind of backhanded, because on two folds, we have adopted the ways of our oppressor, because our oppressor used to do that to our ancestors during slavery, brutally beating for any and everything. But then on the other hand, we've adopted their ways because in some cases they're kind of too lenient with their children, right? You know, children be doing saying any kind of thing to them. I mean, if you ever had a white friend and you've been over to their house and you hear how they talk to their parents, you're like, oh my God, and you're going to live to tell about it? You know, because in your own household, you might be picking up all your teeth or whatever. Let's see here. Dia, you say, I wouldn't vote for Kamala nor Hillary. Jessica Jackson, how are you? Says, I don't remember ever being whipped by any other person outside of my parents. You were trained how to act and respect all adults. Yeah, I can't remember it either. Arneva says, I would vote for Marianne Williamson. Oh, yeah, she's interesting. You know, she's...
Now, you guys do realize Hillary Clinton was the most qualified candidate to run for president ever. She was a first lady. She was a senator. She was the most qualified person ever, and she lost to an idiot. Which goes back to what I was saying in regards to this country has a problem, in my opinion, with female leadership. I really believe they do.
JBWR, you think I should run for president? I wouldn't be on that podium 1 second before I be. Joette says, so how many are interested in democracy or any government by a man? Okay. Christy says Margaret Thatcher did a good job in England.
Oh, really? I think you better go back and check her record.
It says it's not the fact that she's a woman. She is not qualified to be president. Yeah, so I'm with you on that. It's not because she's a woman. She doesn't possess the qualifications, in my opinion. But you never know. You know, Joe Biden.
Wait a minute. Wait. No. I'm going to cut you off there. She went to Howard. She slept her way to the top. She's more than qualified, in my opinion.
Well, I think, too, you know, with Kamala Harris, I think sometimes we spend a little bit of time, you know, kind of deducing her down to, you know, just a woman who slept her way to the top. I think she's a little bit more qualified than that. You know, I think it also should be said that she is a smart woman. Unfortunately, she has been used at the behest of white supremacy, you know, but she's very smart, very, you know, I would say calculating whether it's good or bad. I don't think she's a silly woman. I think she's had to do some of the work to get to where she is, but, you know, Willie Brown, he, you know, takes credit for her being where she's at, but it's like, Willie Brown, you never made it past, was it a congressman or whatever it was, or somewhere?
No, he wasn't even a congressman. He made it to mayor, and he was the California, his claim to fame was he was the California Assembly Speaker.
Right.
That was his claim to fame.
You didn't make it past that, but yet you catapulted Kamala Harris to the White House. Why you didn't do it for yourself if you got that kind of power? You know what I'm saying? So Willie Brown does have power. I've seen it. I've seen them old biddies at the NAACP. Me and Donovan was in Sacramento. Willie Brown was somewhere walking around the halls of Congress, and those women got wind of it. I mean, they
jumped up out of the meeting, took their panties off, and was like, as they were running into the voyeur.
Yeah, they dragged me with them. Talking about, come take a picture of us with Willie Brown. I'm like, that's what y'all excited over?
Low down Willie Brown.
All right.
And was dating Kamala while he was still legally married to his wife in public.
Yeah. All right. So let me skip down here a little bit. Black America, he says, would you feel the same way if a husband was to check his wife when she's acting up? See, the problem that I have with that statement is because women aren't children. And I know that somewhere men have been taught that women are children. Women are not children. If you're with a woman that's acting up, you have a choice whether you want to be with her. You don't got a choice whether you want to be with your children or not. You know, they kind of attached to you. Now, I would say this, as a man, you went public with a woman who was doing that to you. She shouldn't do it to you more than once. Now, if you got to correct her, you do that behind closed doors. But if that's the type of woman you rolling out in public with it, I would say, you know how she is, shame on you. But I personally wouldn't be with a man that's embarrassing me in public. He would do it one time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, women aren't children. They're not, you know, to where you chastise them and, you know, and all that other stuff. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Thunder, you say, question. Do you think if Joe manages to be reelected, he will live out his full term? And if not, do you think this country is ready for a female president like Kamala? No, I do not, which is why a lot of people, especially Democrats, they won't say it out loud, but they don't want Kamala. They want Joe Biden to step down because they know that's a very real possibility that if Joe Biden has one, you know, more fall, it could be the last. And then Kamala's sitting up there, you know, with her hand on the switch. So, yeah, I think they kind of realize that. Brandon, how you doing? You said you sent me a gift. Okay, enjoy your night as well. Precious, you say, democracy is a word. Where'd it go? My thing is kind of slow. Word, actions speak louder. Absolutely. Okay. Mike Nice, how are you doing this fine evening? I hope you are well. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if there's some, Don, if you see some scammers, please remove them, please. And thank you. Love you so much too, by the way. MC Fact says, did Hillary call blacks predators? Says, I'm not sure if she had a black agenda. She called black boys super predators that they needed to be made to heal, right? Get them in control. Of course, that was kind of the justification when they were coming out with the 3 strikes law as to what they were planning to do. So, she was, as far as Hillary Clinton losing to Trump, and it's not that it's necessarily that she lost to Trump. Actually, Hillary had a track record to run on. Trump did not have a track record to run on. Yeah, he's a billionaire. He's a tycoon or whatever the case. He's got that type of track record, but he didn't have one in Washington. Hillary did. And if you were smart and you know anything about Hillary, Hillary, when she first got into politics, she said she was a Barry Goldwater girl, big time Dixiecrat. And just somehow she's a Democrat and all this other stuff, but she's been very adverse to Black people. She was, at the helm of taking out Gaddafi. So anybody who has some sense, that Hillary is not just some, lily white woman sitting up there trying to be president. Hillary, as Farrakhan said, is a very dangerous woman, and she still is. So it's not that she lost to Trump, on Trump's merit. She lost due to her track record.
Did they ever fix that server? Did they ever fix it?
Right. And Jessica, you say, where'd it go? You say, where'd it go? Oh, you say, is Kamala very smart, quote unquote, Demetra K? Don't know that I've seen the signs of intelligence there. There are a lot of senseless cackling, but not much intelligence. Well, I think it's just kind of silly to dismiss her as just a silly woman. I mean, come on. Kamala's a very accomplished woman. She's a lawyer, whether we like the way she's legislating. Listen, don't make me defend Kamala. I'm not trying to do that, but, she held one of the highest positions in California. And I don't think it was all her sleeping her way to the top. She is a very smart woman. But I think, unfortunately, we know why Kamala was chosen for the White House. She was chosen to get Negroes involved. She was chosen to get Black people on board. And once she was used to do that, they, basically shoved her in the back. But then they decided to bring her out to the forefront a little bit, to get her out there, see how she tests with the people. Let's send her on the world stage to talk to some world leaders. And yeah, she flubbed that. So she's you could be smart and not very well versed on what you're doing, And I think the White House kind of did her a disservice as well, because they, didn't really have her do much, and they sent her out there unrehearsed. I mean, hell, even before Joe Biden became the president, he was known as the vice president, of gaffes, or, he did a lot of gaffes, misspeaking, and just saying ridiculous things that didn't even match or matter, and he's still doing it. But yeah, people take Joe Biden to task a little bit, but they don't call him dumb. You know what I mean? But Kamala, people like to say she's dumb. Is she not well versed on the national stage? Yeah, I would say that, but I think she's very far from a dumb woman. Because I'll tell you this, now I ain't gonna try to get myself in trouble, but just say this. See, now I'm starting to unfreeze a little bit, and maybe that's a bad thing, okay? There are, and I want y'all to hear me when I say this, a lot of women who giving their Kit Kat away for less than a Happy Meal. But damn it, if you're going to give it away so you can get the second to the highest spot in the nation. Stop giving your stuff away for a man to say, all right, next. And then you sitting up, he got another notch on his belt and you don't have nothing to show for it. So I don't really want to defend Kamala, I tell people that all day long. Don't be mad at Kamala because she used her kitty cat to get her somewhere. Use your kitty cat to get you somewhere instead of giving it out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry for free. Not you, Jessica. I'm just saying in general.
Well, like I said, you got all these women doing OnlyFans. I mean, if we can see it for $3, we can see it. The value goes down. I mean, that's just how it is. But like I said, I agree with you. What's that old saying? A woman shouldn't be walking around with an empty purse as long as I forgot the saying, but you ladies are familiar with it.
Al said his grandmother had a very a phrase that says, empty purse and a wet does not match. You know what I'm saying? You're being treated like a trampoline and you ain't got nothing to show for it but miles and feet print all up over you and stuff. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not that type of girl per se, not even per se. I'm just not, right? But if I was to be that, I ain't giving it away to suckers for free. I'm gonna need something for my time. And being called Madam Vice President don't seem that bad. So I think it take a smart woman to say, all right, if I'm gonna give it away, I'm gonna give it away to the highest bidder. You can't be no dumb woman doing that, because like I said, there's a lot of dumb women running around there being treated like a trampoline for free. So that's all I gotta say. Thunder, you say, question, I know it's off topic, but have you actually looked at Nancy Pelosi when she was young? Somehow they have her measurements, and I wonder, do they have women with these measurements anymore? Yeah, I've seen Nancy Pelosi when she was younger. She was a very good-looking woman. Well, she's up there in age now. Okay, let's see here. Anthony says the power is behind the scenes. The person running the country is the vice president. The quieter vice president is more powerful, and he or she could be. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think they all have puppet masters, but the vice president, nah, ain't one of them, because Dan Quayle, for example, he was dumber than a box of rocks. I couldn't imagine him being the ones that's calling the shots, So I don't know. Maybe you're on to something. I don't know. Okay. Don, you say only countries that have, I'll say you're speaking to somebody else. So, okay, let me see. Let me skip down here a little bit. Unknown, how you doing? Said just stopping by to tell big mamas and the family they shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving if they do eat something healthy instead of that slave food. Well, they gonna do it, regardless. But I hear, Shane, how you doing? Wilbur, what's going on? She says, when men do step up in 2023, it's called toxic masculinity. So we are stepping away since the modern women have the floor. Men are rightfully checked out of religion and politics. And Wilbur, I love you to death, but I want to say this. No man worth his weight is stepping aside so a woman can run him or anything else. See, we got to get out of that. And, there's a woman worth her weight. If she see a man stepping up, she's not going to call him toxic. She's going to call him daddy. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. She's going to allow him to do that. You know what I'm saying? So again, it might need to be a change of association around the women that may do that. But like I said, most women with some sense, but like, well, hey, there you go. Let me know if there's something you need me to do, but ain't no man going to worth his weight, going to step aside and let no woman do nothing that he should be doing. Now, I know somebody going to get mad about that, but I didn't mean it to turn into an argument. I'm just saying. Our neighbor says, we may not like Kamala, but she played her hand well. Yeah, I mean, let's keep it a buck. She did, Joanne says, exactly. Women and men and anyone who the Most High has ordained to do what he pleases and make their own choices, even if deceived by men and women. Let's see here. Arnone says, no more celebrating white supremacy holidays and traditions. No more bad, unhealthy slave food. Take this time to off to strategize because our enemies are preparing for war, peace, and black power. Rip Gary. Yes, Gary Wayne Monroe, the 5-star general. You guys go on TikTok. His voice is trending on there. People are using it for their little TikTok videos and stuff. So I think that's absolutely amazing. My daughter happened upon a video, somebody using his voice earlier, and I was blown away by that because it was like 1,000 people, doing it. So it's catching on, I guess. Miss Sweet Talks, how you doing too? By the way, he says, I agree. She made it to vice president of the U.S. She made it work for her. Yeah, I'm just saying. Juggernaut, how you doing? Black first to you as well. Arniwa says, you got to use what you got to get what you want. James Brown, and I think that was a hell of a trade-off. What she used hers for. Okay, let's see. Joanna says, blacks are always diminished by white supremacy. Always. And Thunder says, less than a happy meal. Damn. And here I am spending all this money on early bird specials at Denny's and Polygrip. Thank you for the heads up. I'm just saying, I don't know if your lady's gonna go for that. They seem a little bit seasoned and knowledgeable. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of women out there just giving it away, just like trick-or-treat candy. Even trick-or-treat candy, you got to pay for that. Some women ain't even making that dudes do that. But like I said, I can't be mad at Kamala if she used her, little goodie box to secure the bag in a position. I mean, no
goodie box, funk box. Go ahead.
Well, there's a couple people who said it was just sweet enough. You know what I'm saying? And whether we like it or not, she secured something that is very historical that no woman in America, has been able to do. So if her kitty cat got her that, then she needs to write a book. And, and teach other women how to do it. Stop giving your cat away for free. I think that'd be a good title. Okay. Jessica says, I'm not talking about who Kamala slept with. I could care less. I'm referring to what I've seen her do as a politician. I have not seen or heard anything intelligent from Kamala. Yeah, that's possibly so. Especially, with the White House and stuff like that. I mean, her being a vice president, a lot of people did not want her to do that, but there was this antithesis, and I'm gonna say that wrong, so I won't say it. The other side of that was Trump. Very problematic and a lot of people's opinion. And so, Joe Biden, his slogan was saving the soul of the country. And he brought Kamala along with him. And, that's all they needed Kamala for, was to get in the White House. And even
Kamala galvanized the backbone of the Democratic Party, which is the Black women and Black girl magic and all that other stuff. How's that working out for you ladies, the Black girl magic? How's that working out? Did those corporations give you guys the millions of dollars that they said they were going to give you guys? Did the Democratic Party forgive all that student debt that they said they were going to do? They have realized that if you get the Black woman behind an issue without researching it, without worrying about it, they will just fall hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so Tito, how are you doing? This stank box. Y'all know what? Y'all call it call it everything under the sun, but y'all don't say none of that while y'all be up in it though, huh? Yeah, I bet you ain't telling her your stank box show is good to me. Y'all be calling it everything. But yeah, knock it off. And if y'all was with a stank box, why y'all telling people like, if it was a stank box, you shouldn't have been up in it. Not you, Tito. I'm just saying in general, I know it's got a whole lot of names, but that ain't one of them. When you're in that box. Okay, let's see here. Thunder says Ruth Brown was a song. Oops, where'd it go? My thing is jumping up. A song called "If I Can't Sell It, I'm Gonna Sit Down on It. I Don't Feel the Need to Give It Away." Yeah, I'm not saying you should sell it, but hell, if you letting everybody hit it, you might as well get something for it. And I don't advocate that at all, like selling it, but damn, at least get like Thunder, he's taking his ladies to Denny's. At least do that. Denny's, they fairly get you a grand slam after you let him, get a grand slam on you. Have him take you to get a grand slam. But yeah, I can't, I really cannot be mad at Kamala for that. And Joanne says, why are you guys not talking about the ish? Men said Blacks are Fs and should support Israel. Yeah, so Joanne, I know it's been a while, but we're not having that conversation in regards to what's going on in the Middle East, because Black people, we got our own fish to fry here in the United States. And so we've just kind of chosen on purpose to abstain from that conversation. But we are very much so paying attention to what is going on. But we got our own fish to fry and our own burning house to tend to. So I hope that that makes sense. All right, so let's see here. Moni, let's see here. Miss Sweet Talk, she says, the first Black woman to be vice president of USA. We still at the front line. You go, girl. Moni says, how do you feel about Derek Chauvin being, shanked up? I said it's karma rather, but so many say he should have been protected. Why he's really mad he lost his appeal with the courts. So yeah, I saw that not too long ago that he had some prison justice. It sounds like by some inmates up in there. Of course, you guys know Derek Chauvin is in prison doing about a 22-year bid for the murder of George Floyd, which kicked off the protests in 2020. He did recently appeal, but he lost that appeal. So I've seen a lot of conspiracy theories about whether it was staged or whatever the case is. As far as I know, they said that he is in critical condition, but I think it's not unusual that people who are high profile, they do get some prison justice behind bars. And there happens to be a lot of Black men behind bars, and disproportionately so, right? So if you are a police officer who killed someone and it was a historic event, if you will, it sent shockwaves throughout the world, yeah, you kind of going to be a target up in there, right? So it's not surprising to me that that happened to him. But will they try to use that as a means to have him released? Well, if they do that, then what it'll do is set precedents, right? they'll have to do that for everybody else who said that I've been targeted in here. Y'all need to let me out. So it's kind of a catch-22. I don't think they'll do that and say, well, because he stopped being a police officer when he was convicted, so he's just like everybody else in there.
Right. And unfortunately, the Joe Biden crime bill, specifically written by Joe Biden, says that when you're in federal prison, you will do 85% of your time, period, once convicted. That is done by Joe Biden, the author of all the crime bills you ever see has my name on it. Joe Biden.
Yes,
where am I?
Common Man, how you doing? Says, well, Kamala knows some men like a little salt on their fish, so I get it. How y'all doing tonight? We're doing well. Wow. There you say, I always wondered why they call it selling it when she can still walk away with the product after a transaction. Wouldn't it be better to say lease or rent?
That's what I say. Yeah, you're even if you're leasing and renting it. It's not. I mean, see, that's logic. That's logic right there. That is logic. I love it.
I mean, maybe you just want somebody to sample the goods. You don't want them to be having it for a long time, like a rent-a-car, or whatever, a test drive. Here you go, bring it back, get out. You ain't got what I'm looking for. Your credit is not good enough, okay, to even lease this at all. So I don't know. Fat Son, how you doing right now? We're just kind of talking about everything, but we start out talking about it. A grandmother who went viral for correcting her, seems like wayward grandchildren who thought that they should be laughing during a prayer during Thanksgiving. So that's what we're talking about. Facts, not feelings. You say, how do you know? A woman is cheating on you if your package drops in the box as opposed to difficult to fit in the box? I know because I have been cheated on by women who I never thought would have. Listen, I know that we hear this. I'm trying to even really to see how to phrase this. I'm sorry that happened to you. And as I always say, that facts, not feelings. It's not a great feeling to have that done to you. But if you know a little bit about the anatomy of a woman, especially down there, it's not that a man that was larger than you was visiting, and then when you got back up in there, it's like, it's kind of loose up in there. Yeah, that's not how that works. Because a woman could drop a whole 15,000-pound baby up out there, and for the most part,
size of a basketball between her legs.
Yeah, so and it bounces back. But a man that was, maybe a little bit larger was there, and all of it you could tell. I don't know about that one, Facts Not Feelings. I'm gonna call foul on that, only because I'm a woman and I kind of know how that works. Maybe it was something different. I don't know, but that he stretched her out, I don't know.
I guess what he's probably saying, and I'm speaking as a man, when the walls aren't as supportive as they used to be. Maybe that's what he's meaning.
That's false as well. The walls don't stretch out, like dilapidate. Now, get after over time, for whatever reason, you might need a rejuvenation or something, but the walls just collapsing, y'all just be believing any doggone thing. Lord have mercy. Yes,
sprinkle some lemon or some lemon on it. It'll tighten up.
Some vinegar, right?
Right.
Easy. He said good news about Chauvin. Yeah, some people are saying that it is good news. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I do know that what you put out there, you have to get back. And the other crazy part about it is if he survived it, he's got to go back out there. They might have him, protective custody for a while, but they gonna put him back out there, and he'll have to continue to watch his back if they got him like that. So he probably let me shut up. Ebony, how you doing? My thing is skipping up, so I'm sorry. And Brother Samuel, how are you? Says greeting D&D. Dimitri, remind me of an old co-worker years ago. Used to tell the women to sell a bit, don't give it away for free. Yeah, I mean, my God. I never understood that. I never did. It's like you ain't getting nothing for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't advocate for it. It's not my style. But I know some women who are just like, yeah, sure, you want to turn? I'm not doing anything, you know, or whatever. It's like, no. And let's see. And if I didn't, I think I did. But Ebony, how you doing? So I did, Moni. I did talk about Derek Chauvin. Hopefully, you were able to see that. Anita, how are you doing? Yeah, Miss Sweet Talk. This all this stretched out stuff. They wilding. You know, if you listen, can I say something to you? Y'all better be happy. I'm freezing up, but I think y'all can hear me. If you got a problem with shrinkage, fellas, just say that. Just say the water's a little bit cold, the weather's a little bit cold today, but to run around talking about women's walls is wall out, stop it, okay? Because, you know, y'all need to deal with your own issues. And in fact, I feel I'm not saying that about you. I'm sure, you know, Jolly Green Giant got a hold of her, and that was the situation, but sometimes it's shrinkage. You say guys who pay attention, no. Were you measuring it? You have like a ruler or something? You like, how did you know? Let's see. Brother Sammy said, or she could use that vinegar, Donovan. Oh, yeah, there ain't no vinegar doing all that. Listen, there's a they call it snapback, right? Y'all, boy, I tell you, that's some damn snapback. I'm not frozen. I'm
urban legend. It's an urban legend, you know. I mean, come on. That's why they call it urban legends. We don't know if it's true or not. Some people say it is. People say it isn't.
I'm telling you, if it was just all that took was vinegar, the plastic surgeons would be out of business. Okay, you would not be able to find vinegar nowhere. Talking about Leroy coming over tonight. Let me get my vinegar. You know, you wouldn't be able to find no vinegar for no salad dressing at all. Okay. Ebony says, I noticed a lot of people born in places, she says, states or regions of the world where placage, is that what you're saying, is a norm? You said they see themselves as the world in the same way. I've never seen so many women speak this way. Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't know what you're speaking of. Maybe you can enlighten me a little bit more. Michael says, Derek Chauvin. My thing is, okay, there you go. Oops, where'd it go? My thing is skipping up. So sorry. Derek Chauvin will be put in solitary confinement because the police know who he is. They will treat him nicely. He'll probably be there for a minute, but then they're gonna release him back out because why is he special, right? Facts Not Feeling says the people who want Chauvin out will have us believe the knee on the neck did not illegally delete Floyd. It was drugs in the system. Yeah, right. Yeah, of course. That's what they say. Brother Samuel, you crazy says, get it celibate. Yeah, be celibate. Okay, be celibate until, you know, the right person comes along, right? Stop giving it away to everybody, okay? It's not like a, you know, I don't know, lost and found or something. Just don't give it away. Yeah, Miss Sweet Talks shrinkage. And Facts Not Feelings, you say it ain't shrinkage. I take your word for it, but I'm telling you right now, no man that was larger got inside of her and you were able to tell, okay? That I'm guarantee you that was not the case, unless it was just like immediately after. And that was if that was the case, ew, I'm sorry.
Or maybe she was excessively relaxed.
Or shrinkage. Let's keep it about. Maybe it was shrinkage. Why can't we say it was shrinkage? It could have been. Listen, there's nothing wrong with a little shrinkage. It happens. It does.
Not over here. Not over here. Well, you know what? I'll take that back. When I'm in my Speedos and I'm in the water, yeah, the water's sometimes cold. So,
brother, we didn't go to the Antarctic, okay? So I'm not sure if it was that cold.
Hey, I was still attracting the snow bunnies, though. I was still attracting.
Right, because they're used to that, you know. Oh, gee, you say shrinkage isn't a thing in the bedroom. That's a totally different issue. Moni, you say, okay, you say, I'm not voting for none of them ever unless you're going to pass reparations. Donovan, with fairness bill was introduced to eliminate student loan debt. Jealousy out of Texas, stop it. Let's be clear. Okay.
Yeah, well, and Moni, everybody keeps bringing that up, that, a bill was introduced, The reason why the Democratic Party did that is a stall tactic. They did not have to introduce a bill where the Supreme Court will get involved. The president has the executive pen to wipe away student debt. That was a stall tactic to make people think, especially Black people, look, I'm trying to do something for y'all, but they keep stalling me. That is bull crap. You have the Dreamers Act, right? That went to the Supreme Court because Obama did it by executive order. And it's still in court to this very day. But there was no bill needed to do it. Do you see what I'm saying? And when he did it, those dreamers get all of the rights as if they are Americans right now. So they're benefiting off of it, even though it's still locked up in the courts. So when he did the student loan thing, he didn't have to do that. And notice he still has the power to wipe away student debt. Right now, he can just wipe it away. But he refuses to do that because he is in bed with the bankers. Where's a lot of your banking systems located? Wilmington, Delaware. Where's Joe Biden, the former senator, from? Delaware. So he's in bed with a lot of those people, and that's a lot of interest that the banks would lose in money that people owe. You do not need a bill to wipe away student debt. He has the unilateral power to wipe it away unilaterally, period.
Yeah, so I hope we're clear about that. But yeah, I'm reading the comments too. I hope we're also clear about the walls. Okay, let's stop repeating that nonsense. Okay, it's y'all. So sometimes we just need. Let's go. How about this? In 2024, let's learn to take personal responsibility for our shortcomings. No pun intended. Okay, I'm just saying. I think you'll be a better person. What?
You just got the jokes today, don't you?
Facts not feelings. How the hell did we even get on this? You saying the first time you feel the box is hard to fit before. First time you feel the box is hard to fit before it's a good fit. The second time is the same. If another dude passed through and then you could tell the difference is not the same fit. I mean, I don't even know how else to clarify that. Maybe you weren't as into it as you normally would have been, and maybe you weren't at your full potential. It could have been you. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just trying to put two and two together. Like you were trying to put two and two together, but it didn't fit. I'm just saying, maybe you weren't in the mood or like you thought you were, and you're coming up short a little bit. I don't know. Or maybe she was extra excited to see you, and I don't know. I'm probably talking too much. Let's see here. JBWR says also got the juice to pay them reparation. Oh, I thought you were talking about something else. I was like, oh, you went way to the left. Don says Jim Crow is not going to upset his donors. Think about this. Jim Crow Joe wrote the law to make student loan debt non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. Yeah, because if that was the case, a lot of people would be like, I'm filing for bankruptcy. I'll be back in like 6 months to 9 months. I'll be able to get credit cards and stuff. But yeah, that's why a lot of people don't do it. Let's see here. Angela Destiny, how you doing? You say student debt, child tax credit reparations could have been paid with billions, trillions given to Ukraine, Afghans, migrants, and now Israel. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Michael, you say Demetri and Donovan understand how neoliberal Democrats think about people. They prioritize profits, big corporations, a financial institution over people. Trust me. Yeah, no, we believe you. This we know to be true. Don, you said, oh yeah, he also gave us this little gift called the crime bill. Is that what we're calling it? A crime bill.
Well, according to Roly Poly Martin, there's been 3 crime bills. The guy is so pro-Democrat that he is willing to lie about what Black people got from the Democratic Party under Joe Biden. He was bringing up stuff from the 80s, the 90s, and nothing today. And he still says that the Asian crime bill is the crime bill that is for Black people. So Demetra, could you explain exactly what that Asian, it doesn't even mention Black people because it specifically mentions Asians. And that's a difference in what Roland Martin was talking about in the 80s and these other examples he used. There was nothing specific when it comes to Black people. It's an everybody bill. So you guys got to understand, when everybody's involved, Black people are the least likely to benefit. The Asian crime bill is specific to Asians. It does not cover Black people. So Demetra, I remember you did a video on the African Diaspora News Channel. Could you kind of like to just kind of preference it real quick?
Yeah, so the it's actually like the COVID-19 bill. The Asian American Island Pacific Islanders, rather, it's a bill for them. In the first, I would say 5 paragraphs, give or take, it mentions American, Asian American Pacific Islander all throughout it, right? It doesn't talk about Black people or everyone else. Now, of course, we know that Roland Martin has gone on to say that it's for everybody else and mention, no, it doesn't. It doesn't even mention everyone else. We know that that bill came again during the height of the pandemic, where a lot of video was shown that Black people were attacking Asians, and the Congress and everybody else made it a thing, right? Made Black people the boogeyman, and that they needed to be protected. Now, of course, it wasn't just Black people, but they showed that it was Black people doing that. And they got a bill right away. In fact, it was a unanimous decision throughout Congress, which they never unanimously decide on anything. It's rare that they do, right? But they decided on that. So it is a hate crime to target or, any of them, or say anything or do anything to them. But that bill is in their name. But of course, people like your Rollins, they like to run around saying it's for everybody else, because Black people still do not have a crime bill that specifically talks about us. Now, of course, they'll say, oh, well, you got the Emmett Till bill, and then there's a James Byrd and Matthew Shepard bill. They cite those, but it's not for Black people specifically. And the Emmett Till bill, as far as the anti-lynching bill that they've tried forever since, like, I want to say the 1800s to get that bill passed. It said over 200 times. It's smoke and mirrors, actually, because lynching is Capital One. You lynch somebody, you kill them, right? So that's already against the law. And so it's symbolism, because it's to say, well, if they lynch you, then we're gonna add an extra thing onto it. Well, if I'm lynched, I'm already dead. That's Capital One. And if you lynch somebody, that's on purpose, which is a prerequisite, if you will, a requirement for Capital One. Punishment is premeditated murder. So they know that most of us won't decipher the difference. We'll just kind of go along with it. We'll run around and buoyant about getting an Emmett Till bill. But that's for everybody. We need something specifically for Black people, who are still, per FBI statistics, the most targeted group of people in the United States against hate crime, the police, or anything else that is adverse to life. We are still in the number one, but everybody else gets protected, and Black people do not. We get that everybody else, that diversity and inclusion, type of rhetoric, if you will. So,
and isn't it funny that the group that gets the protection because of our civil rights stance and how we don't put up with certain things, when we need help, they're silent. They're silent. But just like what's going on in the Middle East, they want us to speak on their behalf. But when we're in trouble, they're silent. They don't come to our defense whatsoever. But they expect us to come to their defense. The migrants want the Black people to, oh, we're just like you. No, you're not. You're coming here willingly to this country. We didn't come here willingly. So you're not like us. So, so they throw all this stuff out to make you feel sorry for them. But then when we need some help or some support, they're nowhere to be found. They're nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and Juggernaut, you say, I'm feeling disrespected, rather, on how marijuana is being propagandized as reparations for Black people. Does anyone feel that energy these folks are giving off, like it's special, like Juneteenth? What the F? Well, they also know what it takes for us as Black people to be happy. We have believed in the past that symbolism is actually something. We know that anytime And marijuana is not a black people thing. Everybody smokes marijuana. In fact, black people aren't capitalizing off of marijuana. It's them folks that's capitalizing off of it, but they think they want to give it to us. I tell you what, scratch a marijuana bill. We don't need that. Stop criminalizing it and let the people out that have gone to jail and prison behind marijuana, since now it is legal in a lot of states and things. It's not legal on a federal level. But I would tell you this, the last thing we need as black people is more dumbing down, more degradation. Now, I know somebody going to get mad and say, well, marijuana, listen, I don't smoke it, never have, never will. I don't want to be with somebody who does it either. But I will say that they know what to do and what to give our community to continue to meditate us, or medicate us rather, right? To kind of null us down, dumb us down, keep us out of our right mind. That is how black people in America have been held behind, because we have been kept out of our right mind. So what better than to give them a little plant that, as Dr. Wesley Muhammad has said, if y'all follow his teachings from the Nation of Islam, nobody should be smoking that stuff. That ain't the stuff your grandpapa was smoking back in the day. This stuff got so many chemicals and all kind of stuff in it. As he's also talked about, it has been engineered to effeminize black men and to also, do things to black women, but we won't get that knowledge. And so when we hear, marijuana for black people, marijuana bill, that's not our bill. That marijuana bill ain't for us. Like I said, open up the damn gates of the prison, let our people out, stop criminalizing it. But we don't need no other incentive to be high and booted out of our brains in our community.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, Demetri, because why is it that they always associate a semi-negative thing as a black issue? You know what I mean? So like, okay, the marijuana, okay, well, that's a black issue. Why is it that when you see these politicians, especially the Democratic ones, are always talking about, well, this crime issue is a black issue? Why is it that the crime bill or whatever is a black issue? And it is, don't get me wrong, because it was specifically targeted toward us. But why is it that black issue has to do with crime? Why are they associating this always with the crime? This is what the Democratic Party does, and this is the party that we support overwhelmingly. The same people that are locking up your children, ladies, are the same party that you women support 100%. And I'm just going to say this as a man. Fellas, lead. Eventually, these women will follow. They will follow. And and I'm not saying that women aren't, because some women are, waking up, and some of them are leading in that direction. But what I'm saying is, stop getting frustrated with these ladies. They're going to do what they want to do. But we have to be, as men, consistent in our stance at leaving the Democratic Party or going in a different direction. The women will eventually follow.
Yeah. And, I always say we just need to continue to teach each other. There's a lot of things that we are not teaching. We need to teach our children the truth. We need to teach our people the truth. Also, we need to be held each other accountable as much as we can. Donovan and I, we speak often. We talk about a lot of things, and we talk about, like I said, certain things, and I'm like, well, the men need to hold the men accountable. Women need to hold the women accountable. We see our friends or whatever family doing something that maybe they shouldn't be doing. We need to stop being afraid and let them know, hey, you need to get back on the right path. Or do you think you should be doing that? Or you think you should be saying that? Yeah, I'm sure people are going to get mad, but sometimes when you give people the knowledge, they might think about it and say, you know what? They was right. Now, I didn't want to let them know they was right when they was telling me, but they were right.
Fellas, women say that all the time that we don't hear it. Okay, so just want you guys to know that women say that all the time behind closed doors, whatever, but they just won't give us our flowers. That's all.
Yeah, y'all know us as women folks, we can be prideful. He was right, but I ain't gonna never tell him that. No, we should tell people when they're right, so that they'll know. You did make an impact on me. I heard what you said, and I'm gonna act upon that. Right? You let them know that they're trying to help you was not in vain. I'm reading you guys' comments. And Anthony says, you on point about the weed, Demetria. As I say, y'all, I don't smoke it, never have, never will. Like I said, I got enough issues other than trying to be, lullabied. That's one thing I don't never want to be is lullabied. The only time I want to be lullabied is when I'm going to sleep, But as far as just lullabied all day long, like I said, I don't like, I know a lot of people who do it, and they do it for their own reasons, but you doing it so you can survive life. Oh, I just need to, smoke this so I can cope or whatever. Learn how to cope without doing that, because you're going to cause yourself more problems in the long run. Like I said, y'all ain't smoking granddaddy's weed, as Wesley Muhammad said. Y'all, and Donovan, to tell you this, I've always said, especially nowadays, you don't know how people mixing up their stuff in the garage. They ain't no scientists. They pouring this in and doing that, this, that, and the other.
Cutting it to make more profit.
Yeah, making all these strains of weed. And you just, my thing is, most of y'all wouldn't eat at the company potluck, but you take weed from somebody you don't know, roll it up and smoke it. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm too logical for this world, but I just don't know, and you inculcate that into your body. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not judging anybody. It's just not something that I do. Like I said, I want to be in my full mind, all my capacity, all my faculties is there. And I don't want to have to try to slow drag no conversation out of nobody, who's inebriated or high all day long. It's like, yeah, go on over there with the people who do that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that subject up, because I thought we might have been able to talk about this today. With all those lawsuits that came out of New York with these women, they said there was like 2,500 women filed a lawsuit of SA in that last week against people. Now, this is going to tie into what you're saying about the weed. Fellas, speaking as a man, if you've been watching what they're doing right now, and I'm just saying, let's just say you and your girl, and I've never done weed either because I flew airplanes. And, for some reason, you guys keep telling me ain't nothing wrong with weed, but you don't want me to be on it flying an airplane. I don't know why that doesn't make sense. If it's not harmful, then I should be able to fly an airplane and still smoke it, right? Oh, no, you want me to have all my faculties, so I get it. But fellas, with all of these things, so that is happening, right now, particularly, it's just in New York. It might be in other states coming up. Like I said, this is another cash grab. This is another way of subjugating men. Well, these are all civil suits. These women ain't going for justice. They're going for the money. We know that. But I want you guys to think about this. You're sitting there with this girl, and you guys are both sitting there smoking your weed, your legal weed, and you get high, whatever. Things happen, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not saying women are going to do this, but some of the women that us men we like we like the ratchets. Like I like the ratchets. What's going to stop that ratchet from coming back on me 5, 7, 12 years from now, saying that I SA'd her because she was, we were smoking weed and she wasn't in her right mind? So we got to really start putting all the pieces together, because to me, this is another way of taking away our wealth within our community.
You mean it's easy? You say everything's wrong with weed and smoking, period. Yeah, I agree. But like I said, there's a lot of people you just can't get. You can't get to see that, and that's fine. So, I never try to begrudge people of their vices. If that's the vice that's for you, I ain't got to pay for it. I don't care. I just do not ingratiate myself around people like that. I don't hang around people like that. No shade to them. I just don't like that lifestyle. But, in regards to what's going on in New York, with the timeline it was actually adult survivors of that. They had a timeline to file. And so, of course, y'all know a lot of people got caught up in that. Puffy got like 2 or 3, accusations and this, that, and the other. And the only thing that I can really extrapolate from that, or one of many things, is, again, when we're young, we don't count the cost in the future, right? We don't add interest to the things that we are paying for right now, and if those brothers are guilty, I don't know. I guess it only remains to be seen. But, you got to think about that kind of stuff. Who are you hanging around? What are you engaging in? Is this drug use gonna catch up to me? You know, and I know there's a lot of people who may not partake in doing drugs, and I don't care what you say. Marijuana is drugs. Some people say it's not drugs. It is drugs. It is. You know, maybe it's a softer kind of drug, but it's a drug nevertheless. Some people just adapted to the mentality of, if I can't beat them, I'll join them, or you know, I'll make excuses for it. But my thing is, how will people know that they're wrong if you know they're not held accountable? Because I guarantee you, there's a lot of people who are doing things like drugs and stuff like that. They had enough people to say, you know what, I really care for you, or whatever, but I cannot hang around you doing that because that's not what I do. For those of y'all that go to church, what does it say in the Bible? It says evil communication corrupt good manners. Now, some people say, well, is it evil? I don't know. That's open to interpretation. But anything that alters you in any way outside of the natural, that's got to be a little bit, I would say, on a devious side. I would think, you know. But again, who am I? I have no knowledge of doing any of that kind of stuff at all, and I'm proud to say that. But at some point in time, it's going to start to catch up to people. Y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, Snoop Dogg took to his Instagram. He's giving up smoke, which I already knew he was on the BS, because who gives up smoke? You give up smoking, but you don't give up smoke, you know. He's promoting a barbecue grill or something. But there's a lot of people who said, oh, you've inspired me to stop smoking, Snoop, you know. And Meek Mill, he admitted that he's got the onset of emphysema due to smoking weed so much. And he says that, you know, it's inspired him to quit. And there Snoop Dogg is playing around, and he's been token up ever since, you know, he made the announcement that it was a barbecue grill, you know, on his page and stuff. But, you know, I don't know. To each his own, whatever. I ain't got to pay for it. I don't care. I do.
Yeah, but like you said, we got to think about what we're doing today, because it may come back and bite us later on. Again, fellas, let's say, you know, you met this young girl, you know, you guys are having a good time being a young person, you're turning up at the clubs or whatever, and you guys are, you know, engaged in your legalized ganja. And then, of course, you know, you get older, your money's more right and everything like that, you know. And let's say there's a law or a statute of limitations comes out, just like what happened in New York, because that case, no matter what happens in those cases, those are all civil cases. There's going to be nobody's going to be locked up. That is a pure money grab. It's, you know, because if it was for justice, women would go to the police to have them investigate. These are civil cases. And I'm not blaming women because, you know, men or whatever do it. I mean, we're just saying this is a monetary compensation of distress to try to make it right. And again, what you're doing right now, depending on what state you're in later on, this might come back and revisit you. So you might want to think about what you're doing when you're dealing with these women, because like we've said, the weed that you're smoking today is not the same as it was back in the day. They're lacing this with fentanyl and all this other stuff. And a lot of people could come back and say, I was not in my right mind when I engaged in this and I engaged in that. So that's just my public service announcement to the world, men and women. You better think about what you're doing and if it's really worth it.
Yeah, our neighbor, you say, I smoked weed back in the 70s, and I do believe it had an adverse effect on my brain. Yeah, you know, anything that you put into your body, whether it's food, drugs, whatever, unnaturally, it is going to eventually catch up to you. Like if you can't eat fried chicken every day and expect for it to not have an adverse effect on you, why do you think you can smoke weed? You know, something that you're taking into your lungs and it's going into your brain and every other facet of your body.
Well, you know what's really funny about like people that smoke in general? And I never understood it. I was in 4th grade, and I remember the fire department came out, and they were telling us, you remember the fire department would come out and show you how to do the fires and stuff, and you'd be like all excited, oh, yeah, this is cool. And they always talk about how the smoke was the biggest issue. You don't want to get that in your lungs and all this other stuff like that. And I used to sit there as a 4th grader and say, well, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. If smoke is so bad for you, why are people willingly inhaling it into their bodies? It just never made sense to me.
It's an addiction. That's what it is. You know, people who especially smoke cigarettes are addicted. And I would have ventured to say that weed is probably addicting as well. You know, and a common man says, so is caffeine and chocolate, Demetra. They are both drugs, and nicotine. Just saying, yeah, they are. There's a lot of things that are considered to be drugs. Of course, chocolate is probably a little bit less harmful than you inhaling something into your lungs and, you know, going throughout your body. Yeah, caffeine is can be considered a drug too. but you'd have to be actually doing drinking a lot of caffeine, as though there are people who are addicted to caffeine. They cannot stop because they do drink so much of it. So yeah, we can concede that. That's not feelings. You say one of the most well-known Black people in the media, Snoop Dogg, is being synonymous with smoking weed. Yeah, he is. You know, you think of Snoop Dogg, you think of him getting high. You know, you just can't think of Snoop Dogg without thinking about him smoking weed. And you know, our Snoop Dogg is very influential. In Ebony, yeah, it is laced. And a lot of people, I don't know, just like I said, I don't hang out with people who do that kind of stuff. So it's not really my issue or what have you. But some people have to learn, unfortunately, the hard way. In suburbia, they say, I don't believe any woman who runs to civil court after allegedly SA. I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, I guess there's some people who would do it for a money grab, but you guys also got to remember criminal charges are not off the table. It doesn't say because I filed civil suit, that's criminal suit is off the table. That it could still happen. So
Right.
Please understand that.
Yeah, and didn't they bring up Bill Cosby again? He was also charged again, I believe. Two or three counts, I believe. So.
Yes, and you know, Jimmy Iovine was charged. Andrew Cuomo was charged. Well, not charged, but you know, filed against again. So there's been
Marcellus Wiley, Aaron Hall was brought up. I don't know if Aaron Hall was charged. I think he was brought up in conjunction with Sean.
Aaron Hall did go to prison back for that. This is years ago.
He was R. Kelly number 2.
Yeah, he wasn't charged, and none of them been charged. They've been sued federally, so it's a lawsuit. It's a civil suit, not criminal charges yet. Brother Reggie, how you doing? I hope all is well with you. Let's see here. Facts Not Feelings says the chemicals found in weed has good medical benefits, but the additional stuff they put in week is not good. Yeah, all that other stuff is not. Hey, Monica, how you doing? Says, I think this law was passed to target Black wealthy. Any other culture, it's probably because they won't go to the Illuminati program. Yeah, I've heard that. Not sure how true the Illuminati is, although I do believe there is some esoteric organization out there. Not sure if that's just what it is. Yeah, can I keep it a buck with y'all? I'm trying to say this as nicely as I can, and welcome to everybody. I just think, you know, that kind of thing that goes on, that went on, and people are accused of it, I just think it's part of the culture. And I'm not saying it's right. It's part of the culture, and it's always been a part of the culture, whether it's Hollywood. You guys heard of the casting couch, and, you know, in the hip hop industry, we've heard for years and years, certain female artists had to do or felt like they had to do certain things to get on a record or to get a record or whatever the case is. And so we know that culture has permeated the industry for a long time. It's very, very predatory. Somebody is coming to the music industry. You know, why should they be expected to do anything with you or whatever? We hear about that even to this day, that it goes on. And so in my opinion, I just think it's time to pay the piper. I think the chickens have come home to roost. I mean, how we know that, I know some people say, well, karma is real. Karma is real. You out there being adverse to people, harming them, assaulting them, all that other stuff. Yeah, eventually somebody is going to tell, and the yarn is going to unravel. So I think the bigger, see, this is kind of a part that kind of pisses me off, is people try to have the conversation about the women. Are they lying? Are they lying? Yeah, probably more, a lot of them are lying. Okay, I'm gonna concede probably a lot of them are lying. Because listen, and I don't want to say this as a blanket excuse, but I know that if I meet a man in a nightclub at 2 a.m. and he says, "Hey, come back to my room," I know we ain't gonna go play no Uno. You know what I'm saying? We might play some Naked Twister, but I know we ain't going up there to pray, to be looking. I know what we going up there for, right? Now, I also want to say this. Once I get there and I change my mind, I am allowed to change my mind, okay? But I want to say this to the men. Y'all got all this money. Think about somebody like Puffy or anybody else. Y'all got all this money. Why are you inviting women you don't know to your room? Don't you know you are a prime target for a woman to say, oh, He did something to me. Mike Tyson is a perfect case. Now, I've studied the Mike Tyson case, and I firmly believe that he was set up. I believe him in every word that he said. She came over 2 a.m. We did the dance. I said, hey, it's been real. He did not walk her outside, which is kind of a douchebag thing to do. She probably thought she was going to be Mrs. Tyson and all that. And she was probably the 16th woman he was with in 2 days, and she didn't know that. So she got in her feelings and hollered, the unthinkable. But again, like all parties involved, we got to protect our own interests. As a woman, I'm not going to nobody's room in the middle of the night, especially if I do not know you. And as a man, stop inviting women into your space that you do not know. I always think about somebody like Jackie Christie, who is the wife of Doug Christie. I remember, basketball player, all of that. And she was everywhere he went because she was like, I know women. I know, as a good friend of mine told me years ago, a man is only as faithful as his options. Now, is that true? In my case, it has been true, okay? Now, I'm not saying it's true for all men, but Jackie Christie knew that. She knows that, yeah, it's going to be, he's probably going to say no 99 times. No heifer, no heifer, no, I don't want it, nah. That 100th time comes, Jackie knows there's a possibility he's going to go, look to the left, to the right, and say, all right, hurry, come on. Ain't nobody gonna know, right? So it's just kind of the nature of that type of space, but we all got to use wisdom. There are a lot of women out there like, shit, this will come up for me. I say he did something to me. He gonna settle. I got a bag. But I don't know, if you're doing that kind of stuff, you kind of got to pay for it. I just think that you do.
So, the words of the wise, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, in my opinion, I think the reason why a lot of people are getting this way in these newer generations is because of lack of opportunity. Dimitri, when we were coming up, nobody did this type of stupid stuff. Everybody took responsibility for what they did. But with the lack of jobs, especially in our community, I'm just talking about our community, lack of opportunity, the lack of jobs, the lack of family, lack of men. The 80s and all the drugs that the CIA dropped in there screwed up a lot of families and stuff like that. So looking at these young people, especially these young women that are out here on OnlyFans, stripping, outright adult sex work, whatever, I could see the writing on the wall, because what opportunities do they have there? Now AI is coming into play. They're not even going to hire you at Walmart as a cashier anymore. I mean, because AI is taking over in these certain jobs. So thank goodness you women have something that will sell when what's the saying, when cornbread and corn won't sell. You guys have something that will sell.
Yeah, y'all suckers gonna buy it every time.
Right, exactly. But I think the reason of the rise of this get a bag thing is because Black people are in desperate times. We are in a desperate measure. Some of these women out here are raising children, and they're doing the best they can. Suki Cookie, whatever her name is, talking about she's doing the best she can for her kids. She puts it out there for her kids. So I'm not surprised that these women are going to shoot for the lottery, and say, hey, if I can get something out of it, the guy can settle. Great. If I can't, I didn't lose anything, because there is no penalty for false accusations in the child support system. So on and so forth. So that I just think that's a rise that's been happening in the community, because the opportunities just aren't there. Black people, we are now a permanent underclass, and these are the type of actions people in our community will take when they're desperate, period.
Marjorie, how you doing? And your average logical thinker and everybody else who came on here. I think it's definitely, and Honeydew, how you doing? I think it's definitely opportunist moves going on out there. But I don't want to say that it's everything, because there are men who are predators out there. It's just a fact. There are some men that got money, that got power. And I see y'all saying, facts not feeling, say, record your interaction, gentlemen, and store it in the cloud. How about you just settle down to a good choice? Stop slanging your dang-lang around with people you don't know. And that's as much your fault as it is hers if she lying on you. Why would you, if you got something, even if you ain't got nothing to lose, you're working at Taco Bell, you got freedom to lose. Why would you hop up and down on a woman you don't know? She liable to say anything about you. You know what I mean? For 2 minutes of pleasure, you gonna go and risk your whole, because listen, one thing about Puffy, he's got a lot of money, But what about his reputation? You know, and we know that from over the years, there's been a lot of accusations about Puffy and how he moves with everybody. So to say that, yeah, y'all men, y'all need to protect yourself, but the best form of protection is avoidance. Avoid it. Just avoid it. Ain't no booty out there worth you having to explain to the world, oh, I didn't do it, or whatever the case is, right? Yeah, there's some women who are gonna lie and you know, A, B, C, or D, or whatever. But my God, I just think, like, how often do we need to hear about these things happening? Like, well, okay, Bill Cosby. Yeah, I think we can pretty much ascertain that it was a money grab. You know, he was very upfront. Like, yeah, I was with those women. Yeah, we was popping Quaaludes and, you know, all this other stuff. But we were doing that. I didn't do anything to anybody against their will or whatever the case is. But I don't know. If I was a man, I wouldn't be getting caught up in that. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't be nothing to be worth my freedom, because what if they do decide to press charges, you know, on Diddy and all these other people for those accusations? Then they're in a world of trouble other than having to write a check. So just stay away from women like that. Go, if you got to go to the club, go home. No, lady, you ain't going home with me. You're not going to the backseat of my car. We're not going to the back of the club. We're not doing none of that. It's been real. Okay. And if I was y'all, wouldn't even be dancing too close up on none of these women or whatever the case is. Not saying that all women are going to do that. But when I was in dental assisting school, and I talk about this all the time, we were taught to treat AIDS as though it were universal, meaning that treat everybody like they have it until further notice, because you sticking your hand in somebody's mouth, or, you know, not properly sanitizing the equipment and getting blood on you and in you, you can end up catching it, right? So you have to take precautions, wear your mask, wear your goggles, wear your gloves, all that other stuff, and treat everybody like they have it. So men, y'all got to start treating women like they all, you know, seeing you as a mark. They all trying to see you as a bag. Get to know that woman. Don't jump into bed with her the first time you meet her. Take her out to coffee or whatever. See, when we start having the conversations from the neck up, then we stop having to dig in our pockets. And I say we, y'all men, y'all have to stop having to dig in your pockets to pay for child support, for women saying, well, you better settle with me or I'm going to tell. You know, y'all avoid all that. Have the conversations from the neck up. And you don't have a conversation from the neck down until that woman presents herself worthy enough to spend time with you. But see, the problem is with a lot of you men is y'all let that little head do all the thinking. For the 2 minutes of fun that you gonna have, it causes you a lifetime of pain. Tell the little head to shut the hell up, and you do the thinking from now on. That's
I agree. I agree with you right there. That's some wisdom right there. But unfortunately, we are wired to do what we do, because if we weren't wired that way to hump on anything we can hump on, the human race would just disappear, because we don't want to talk to you ladies. We really don't. You know, the conversation, we don't, you know, especially if we don't really know you like that, we don't want to talk to you. But the fact of the matter is we are wired like that so that the human race can continue to exist. Because if we sat down and took the time to know everybody, there'd be almost nobody on this earth.
But you know what, though? If we took the time to get to know people, we can have better people on this earth. You know what I'm saying? But to say we have the time, we got to take the time. You know, we allowing what's below our pants to do all the dictating, no pun intended, right? We letting it do all the talking, all the walking, and then it's like, I didn't mean to do that, or I wish I would have thought about it. Well, you didn't. So, you know, we got to get to know each other. And sometimes if you're very discerning, if you're quiet long enough, a person will reveal themselves to you. You asking the right questions or having a conversation with them, they'll tell you everything you need to know about them. But unfortunately, we let ourselves get hot and bothered. I don't care what she's saying. Did you see her ass? Oh, she got a fat ass. I don't care.
What's behind the booty? Yeah. I need to know.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all what's behind the booty. You know, there's a lot of nonsense behind the booty, but y'all don't care about that. All y'all care about is what she looks like. And then when you treat her like a trampoline for 2 minutes, and then she truly reveals herself, then you're mad. Oh, women ain't this. Women ain't. But you know what? She told you all you needed to know by one, telling you some things or not telling you anything. Because the other thing too is, men, A lot of times y'all don't demand that the women actually even have to tell you nothing. All you care about is how she looks, she smells good, and this, that, and the other. And the only thing on your mind is she gonna let me do it tonight? Is she gonna let me, you know, spin off this little 2 minutes of fun I got with her? That's all y'all care about. But say, hold on, little guy, little tiny guy, little minuscule tiny guy, be quiet. I'm doing the
Wait a minute. Why'd you say that 2-3 times? I didn't.
Yeah. Tell the little man, okay? Be quiet. I got this. If this is a good woman, little guy, okay, you will surely be able to experience her. But in the meantime, let me vet this woman. Let me make, see, that's another thing too, men. I don't think you guys are taught enough that y'all should feel worthy. The woman should feel like she has to be something to even lay in the same bed with y'all. Y'all don't do that. She got a hole. That's all you care about. Well, she got 3, and if you're lucky, she'll let you use 2. You know, that's all you care about. Y'all don't care about, well, nah, I can't just be laid down with any. Y'all don't, how many times, Donovan, how many times have you, and let's keep it a buck, how many times as a man have you said, oh, hell no, you can't just be anybody laying down with me? No, are you kidding?
Well, no, I didn't get that way until I was older and more mature. But in my younger years, I didn't give a damn. Come on, D, you were at those all-nighters at the base and stuff. We didn't give a damn.
I gave a damn. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying in general, as men, we don't think like that. We're not wired like that. If men were wired with the way women want us to be wired, the human species would be extinct. It literally would. You have loose women out there. You have wild men out there, loose men, whatever you want to call it. You got to have those people. I mean, come on. You want to keep it above 100? You got Big Shirley having multiple babies. So it has nothing to do with personality. It has nothing to do with how she looks. It has something to do with it's a hole. I'm in need. I don't care. That's how human beings are wired. We are wired the way we are. I know it's ugly. The truth is what it is. But if we went by common sense and what we should be doing, the human race would die out.
I just don't believe that. I don't believe it would die out. I think we would be, for one, we'd be better. We'd be quality people, and we would expect quality from other people. We just don't do that, you know.
Right, but there wouldn't be 8 billion people on the earth. I mean, there'd be like a million.
Can I ask you a question, though? Some of these people don't need to be here. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, people being created that shouldn't be created in the first place. I mean, we've all met some people in the last week that was like, why did your mom and daddy do this to us? You know, so I don't know. I'm just saying. But, you know, I think if we were to take a moment to say, all right, what we about to do, we might be procreating something we don't really want to bring into the world, you know, like Rosemary's Baby or something. There's a lot of Rosemary babies running around the planet terrorizing the rest of us, you know. And so we really need to be having those conversations with each other. We're going to jump in the bed and we might do something we don't want to do. We're going to regret. I don't even know if I like you like that, let alone to be having to write a check to you every month for child support. I don't even know you like that. You know, hell, y'all be better off if somebody panhandling outside of Walmart, just giving them some money. It's the same thing. It's the equivalent of, except for y'all jumping in the bed with these women, y'all don't know them, and then she ended up panhandling your ass for 18 to 22 years because you didn't take the time to get to know that woman. You know,
yeah. And that's the carnal desire that men and women have with each other, because let's reverse that. You've got a lot of women out here dealing with Pookie and, you know, Ray and Diggadims, and they know this guy is no good, is this irresponsible, whatever, and they're still having babies with him. It's our carnal desire, the way we are designed. I mean, you've got movies about it, you've got books about it. And yet women, younger women, prefer those type of men. Look at our young girls today right now, much less the young boys that have been feminized. The young women now are talking about Pound Town and this, that, and just degrading themselves to the lowest level. And they're just not caring, twerking pregnant with videos. And, you know, this is where we're at. But that's the carnal knowledge of we just don't care. I'm going to procreate, whatever. It's just something that's just designed in us. I'm not making excuses. It's just sad where we're at.
Well, yeah, I think we all have that carnal nature, but we should be teaching ourselves and our children and everybody else that we could teach. Your carnal desires should not rule you. Carnal desires have gotten people in a lot of situations they would not be in if they would have just taken the opportunity to say, I know. I mean, we all got needs. We all have needs, but you got to really be able to quell those needs down until you can be rational about things. And so as far as, the pound town and all that other stuff, or girls getting with Ray and Pookie, it's a self-esteem issue. Because when we start teaching our daughters, our girls, that not any man should be able to enter you. Only man that should be able to enter you is the man that's going to make you an honest woman. And listen, I'm not sitting up here, as I was perfect. I was an unwed mother as well, but I would tell you this. I didn't lay down with any and every man. I just never have been that way. But we need to start teaching our daughters that. Ray and Pookie, they got some swag. They, whatever. But what else do they have? It's like they talk about years ago, and I talk about this all the time. When we talk to our daughters about fairy tales, we say, oh, Prince Charming, he's on a horse. He's a knight in shining armor. He's going to sweep you up and take you away. But we leave out so much in that conversation. We don't tell our daughters, Prince Charming, as fine as he is, Elder Barge, as fine as you are, you got to have some other qualities. All right, Prince Elder Barge, why you roll up here in your white Cadillac and you want to take my daughter off? Can you provide for her? Are you going to be respectful of her? All these other things. But we teach our daughters, you just got to be cute. You got to have swag, got to be good looking or whatever. But we don't teach them the necessities. You know what I mean? And the same thing for men. We have to teach the boys the same thing. Value yourself, young man. If some hot to trot girl that's hot in her pants try to come at you, whatever, you tell her, no, sassafras, no, thank you. I'm not going to lay down with anybody because, unfortunately, in our society, we expect boys to just be wild and loose. You know what I mean? And, you slept with your teacher? Wow, where were the teachers out of my day that was doing that? But that's wrong. Because you wouldn't think that was okay if a teacher was doing that with your daughter. You go hunt him down. The same energy should be for the boys. So boys grow up, they don't feel as protected because to them, they think it's natural that everybody expects for them to just bed any and everything because they think that's what makes them a man. Kevin Samuels talked about that. He says, especially with Black men, that you guys have been taught to F your way through life. And there's so much more than that. You know what I mean? So we got to teach our boys and our girls to have self-esteem, knowledge of self, and that what's between your legs should be valued, right? As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in How to Give Birth to a God, he says, not every man should be able to just enter you. That's a sacred space. He says, because when you have two wombs, you have the womb of the mind and you have the womb, that you create a baby. And what you let into your womb also cultivates in your mind. And then from your mind, you are growing a baby from your thought processes, right? And how you believe and all that other stuff. So you should not allow just any and everybody, because the other thing is that man with his seed, what is he doing with his seed? What is he cultivating in his mind that eventually is going to go into his seed that's going to go into you? So we got to start teaching each other that we got to have some self-control. We just have to.
Right. And you got to also take into account that men get killed at a faster rate than women in regards to just life and just wars. So there's always more women in a society than there are men, for the fact that men are going out there actually doing combat and doing dumb shit in life, whatever the deal is. And by the way, ladies, on the Senate floor right now, there is a bill that will make it mandatory for women to sign up for the selective service and be drafted just like the men. This is what feminism gets you. It's called equality now. But there's so many women that are fighting against that bill to not be raised. So I got a question for you, Demetra. What do you think about that bill?
I think it's bullcocker, and I don't think feminism had anything to do with them drafting that bill. I think that they know that we're dealing with a shortage here. Yeah, there's some women who would want to go in and fight the war, but I'll tell you right now, it's not a whole bunch of women that's saying, yeah, draft women, because that is not the nature of a woman to be sitting up taking arms against and fighting and combat and all that other stuff. And hell, Donovan, you was in the military, you know, especially even before World War I or whatever, women wasn't in the front line. They was at home. Rosie the Riveter, she was helping the war efforts by staying home, raising children. Yeah, that's when women really started to come out of the home into the workforce, because she was helping, keep the nation going as their husbands and stuff were off in war. So this draft that they want to do of women, it's more of, we don't give an F about American citizens, and we don't care about women either. We need more bodies, whether they're men or women, on the front line to help us to try to assert dominance all over the world, and to continue, getting these resources or whatever by any means necessary. We know where there's war, there's money, and they don't care at this point who is holding the artillery, if you will.
Right, and I'm bringing that up because just like in feminism, that's only a small group of women that keep talking all that yin yang and bull crap. And now they've pushed this bill at. My question is, where are the women to fight back against this bill and say, no, this is some bull crap? Men need to be men, women need to be women. Again, it goes back to the roles and stuff. And we know Demetria's we're still working on Demetria getting her benefits and stuff for her service. But see, you guys see her eyes. She gets excited when she thinks about that big check that's going to come back to her. But we need to, and unfortunately, a lot of women, and you guys should be paying attention to something like that. But that bill is a reality. Now, those of us that are older, we're probably grandfathered out. But just think of the fact that what's going on in the world today. We've got AI and stuff like that. Do you guys realize that the Army could not recruit? They were down 25% in their recruitment. Across the board, the military was down 25% in their recruitment. So where are the women that are, the majority of the women that are saying, no, we don't want this bill, we don't want this to happen? It's always that small group that is speaking for the majority of women.
Yeah, will it happen? I don't know. And Common Man says there will be a lot of Black women drafted. Sad but true. I think you're right. And it's very unfortunate. I don't know. I like I said, I don't believe feminism had anything to do with it. I just think anybody will do at this point, right? Don says it's kind of like that double standard. Common Man says Black women will be disproportionately drafted. Mark my words. Yeah, I agree. But as far as equality, and that's the other thing too, it wasn't even the majority of women who were for feminism. It was some, but unfortunately, a lot of women, all women are getting to blame for that. And as I said too, I studied feminism. Feminism started off as an idea of, equality. And I don't think there's any wrong with a woman wanting equality, especially in the workforce and, things like that. Nobody should be thought of as a second-class citizen. And back then, women were considered to be second-class citizens, and in some respects, considered to be property. And so I don't think that's a good thing that women were regarded in that way. Now the other stuff, like we don't need men and all that, that kind of jumped off the rails. Actually, feminism started off as a racist agenda, because white women were mad that Black men could vote and they could not. So the first wave of feminism started off that way, and then of course it morphed into a lot of other things. But like I said, the original idea was, we don't want to be second-class citizens. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Let's see here. Ebony, you say, will their fathers allow it? That's a better question. Well, just like most people in Congress, they don't allow their sons, to go off to war. Many of them don't, so they surely aren't going to have their daughters drafted to do that. They definitely will have your daughters, per se. Michael says, Demetria and Donovan, even if marijuana is legal, the racial wealth gap will continue to widen unless cash payment reparations for ADOS are implemented. Oh, no doubt. Totally agree with you. Angela says the Israeli women have to do military service. The need to send some convicts, they need to send some convicts to prisons. It makes the military. Well, they used to do that. during the Vietnam War, they allowed some inmates to, switch their prison time to go into the draft to Vietnam. I don't know why they don't do that now, but they used to do that. Common Man says it's time that they pay for that Section 8. You know what? An EBT, because they have nothing to complain about now. They'll have to pay for their supper. Yep. Well, if that's the case, then they need to be taking the men right with them. You know what I mean? Because
well, the funny thing is the women that really took advantage of the Section 8 thing in the 70s. These are old women now, so they're not going to draft those women. We're talking about the younger women now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Y'all gonna find there's gonna be a whole lot of white women on that front line, because I know they try to tell y'all, yeah, it might be some disproportionate going on, but they try to tell y'all it's all black women with the EBT and Section 8. Y'all gonna see a whole lot of white women out there on the front line talking about, I don't understand.
Well, I'll tell you this: when I was in the Middle East, there was a whole lot of white women and some sisters too, coming back with a bag. They were getting cash money, straight out happy tent.
So
okay,
it
was called a happy tent.
They wasn't giving it away.
Right, they weren't giving it away. But think about it: naming your price, calling your shot. Because some of those Army guys, you don't know if you're going to be there tomorrow. This might be your last opportunity to get some. When I was out there, I heard girls charging $300 to $500 for a pop.
And y'all was paying it too, wasn't you?
Not me, but the Army dudes, they were paying it, because I wasn't on the ground. So I was up in Rheinstein. I was in Germany. I was flying aeromedical in and out, so I didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
Oh, you got yours for free because you was an upperclassman, huh?
Well, no, I didn't get it for free. Remember, there's a red light district in Germany you can go to.
So anyway, y'all, we're going to get out of here. I apologize, y'all, for my technical issues here. I don't know what happened. This has never happened before for this long. But hopefully next time we come back on Tuesday, it will be rectified. Donovan, I got some great topics that we could talk about for our podcast. And then, I'm sure something interesting will happen for the live show. So in the meantime, you all please be safe. Have a great day. Of course, we have ways to donate to the channel. If you guys would and could, we'd love and appreciate you for that. Also, please remember to subscribe to the African Diaspora News app. Go to africandiasporanews.org. Sign up there. I know some of you guys said that you have already, and so that is great. I say that because y'all know it's kind of crazy times on these other people's apps. And so African Diaspora News channel has built an app just for us. We can be free to be us and say what we want to say for the most part. And y'all can get the news uncensored the way it should be given. And so if y'all will go over there and do that, I would love and appreciate you dearly for that. But in the meantime, yes, you guys, please have a great evening, and we will see y'all later. Peace.